Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be installing some TPMS sensors on these steel rims. Now I'm going to be installing new winter tires on these new steel rims. These rims are 18 inches. It's going on a 2015 Toyota Sienna XLE. So I'm just going to be showing you on how to install the TPMS sensor and the tire, and then balancing. I also need to program these sensors, because these sensors, they come blank, so you will need a TPMS scan tool in order to program the sensors. And then later I'm going to show you on how to register the sensors after everything is all finished. So this one here is the alligator Sensit RS Plus, part number 591132. So I'm just going to install this now. So this kit, it comes with the sensor, a new valve cap screw to mount it on at the bottom of this piece, and a new valve stem. It comes with the nut and washer. Then there's the a tiny instruction manual, tells you the torque specs. So the screw is 26 to 30 inch-pounds, and the nut is 35 inch-pounds. So the first thing I like to do on the aluminum valve stem, I like to put a tiny bit of anti-seize here, because these often corrode in the rust belt area. I know that some haters are gonna hate, but this is what I do. This is what I do to prevent corrosion, because on some of the sensors, after a few years, corrosion, it builds up on this, and then you would have to replace the entire sensor. But this particular one, it comes separately, so you may be able to get a repair kit and just replace this piece itself, and and not the sensor, if you're able to find the valve stem by itself, if you want to replace it in the future, if you ever have problems with these. So we are going to take the washer out, install the valve stem, and put the washer on top, and then the nut on top, just to hold it in place here for now. Now we have the sensor here. It's an adjustable sensor, so you're able to adjust the angle of the sensor here. So we are just going to insert the screw here. I have a special tool here that has a built-in torque or torque wrench inside here to tighten this up. So this one, I'm going to tighten it up to 35 inch-pounds approximately. This is just a TPMS tool that I got some time ago. I don't need to manually use a torque wrench. So I'm going to tighten this up. After it's tight, it clicks, and you won't be able to tighten it up anymore. Okay, and then so now we are going to tighten up the top one now. So we're going to tighten up the top one. You need to hold the bottom down as you are tightening it up. So once it's tightened up, you'll hear this torque wrench click. It's tight. So now we are ready to install the tire. Now, on some of the tire machines, it really depends on which way the head goes. But on this one, you have to go counterclockwise in order to mount the tire. On other machines, it goes clockwise. So when you install the tire, you have to install it in such a way so that it doesn't hit the sensor here, so you don't damage the TPMS sensor. So I'm going to show you on how I install a tire in order to prevent damaging the TPMS sensor. So now I'm just going to lubricate the tire now with the tire lubricant. Now on new rims, the steel rims, you don't need to apply bead sealer because the new rim has the protective paint. However, I do like to apply a little bit of bead sealer anyways, because it does give a little bit of the anti-rust protection on top of the black paint that's on the steels. So I always like to use bead sealer as a protective coating, and to also to seal the tire properly. You don't have to on a new rim, but I always like to do it because it helps to prevent rust, because I know that sometimes the paint is not enough on the rims. So I just like to do it because it's good. You don't have to apply bead sealer. I applied bead sealer off camera. So now we are just going to install the tire now. Install the tire away from the sensor. So this is how I like to do it. I like to place the head somewhere here so that this tire is up against the rim, and it's above the sensor. The bead is above the sensor, so it's not uh, hitting it. Then I like to, on this machine, you can usually, I think you can only do it counterclockwise. I tried doing it clockwise, but it does not allow me to mount the tire that way. So I just do a counterclockwise. So anyhow, we are going to install the tire now. And now we just need to put some air in it now. And then that should be it. And we still have to do the balancing. So we are going to take out the valve core. I forgot to mention that I was supposed to program the sensor first before I put all this together, but I think it should be okay still. We are still going to program it after we inflate the tire. So we are going to inflate the tire. Make sure that the bead is above the sensor so you don't damage it. I'm going to adjust the tire pressure. Install the valve cap. In case you forget to program the sensor, you can do it through the tire. So it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just doing the one tire just to demonstrate to you guys on how it's done. I still have the 3 other tires that I still have to do. I just wanted to let you guys know that if you are programming the TPMS sensors, you have to make sure that the other sensors that you are not programming, make sure that they are far away, because it's going to interfere with the sensor that you are working with. So you want to make sure that there's no interference with the other sensors. So anyhow, I have the ATEQ VT37 scan tool. So we are going to go to program sensor, Toyota Sienna 2014 to 2020, and we're using the alligator sensit. This is I believe this is the RS or RS plus. Okay, then we're gonna go to create new sensor. I'm having issues with the camera trying to focus here, so I apologize for that. We're gonna go to start. Says that it's uploading. So once you're done doing the programming, it will say successful on the scan tool, and you should be all good to go. So I'm going to program the rest of the sensors here. It's just the exact same thing. This is just outside the vehicle. It is easier. So I just it's because I was trying to make a video, and unfortunately I forgot to program it before I mounted the tire on. But it doesn't really matter, but it's just easier in case you have any issues with like interference or something. If you're having problems to program the new sensors, is just a lot better and easier to program them off the vehicle first before you mount it onto the rim. This one is done. I'm just going to do the last one. I did the other one off camera, so that's it. It's the same exact procedure. So the tools I have here is just a kit that I got some time ago. This one I purchased, I believe, from Amazon for like $60 or something. So it comes with the kit here and this. So the torque is adjustable on these, but usually I leave this alone at around 35 inch-pounds. So that's what the torque specs are usually are for these TPMS nuts on the Toyota vehicles. And this one I purchased separately by Schrader. I believe this is a T10 Torx. It does a T10 Torx screws. So this has like a built-in torque in here to tighten it up a certain amount. I just use these because it's faster for me, and the tools are easily accessible, so I don't have to to bring out the regular quarter-inch torque wrench and stuff. You can just use a regular quarter-inch torque wrench, and you should be fine. Or you can use these TPMS specialty tools. Now, I'm not sure if I forgot to mention anything, but about the duck head or the head of the machine here, it depends on which way the the head is turning. If it's going counterclockwise, usually you want to make sure that when you are mounting the tire, you want to make sure that the TPMS sensor is in between the 6 and 9 o'clock position. But it's not always the case, though. You can I just, as you saw earlier, I I mounted it without doing that. You don't have to, but that's what the recommendation is, between 6 and 9 o'clock if you're going counterclockwise with this head, or if you are going clockwise this way, you want to make sure that the TPMS sensor is between the 3 and 6 o'clock position, so in between here, so that way you don't damage the TPMS sensor. Now, in some cases, you don't have to follow that rule if you have your own technique of trying to avoid hitting the sensor, and then you can just do that too. But this is just a recommendation from the manufacturer. So now I'm going to be balancing the tire now, or the wheel. So I already inputted all of the measurements. We are going to install the weights now. There are sometimes the wheel balancers. They have a 0.25 ounce round off here. So sometimes they'll say add 0.25 or it will be a 0.25 less. So you have to watch out for that on the tire balancers. So sometimes if I'm able to, I'll take out the weight that I just put on, and then I'll just uh, put on a 0.25 ounce more weight. So earlier it said 1 ounce, so I'm gonna take it off and I'm gonna put 1.25 on, and hopefully that's going to balance the tire out. That usually works in most of the cases, but not all the time. See, now it's 0, 0. So we're all good to go. I just need to balance the other three, and then afterwards we are going to install these wheels and register the sensors onto the vehicle. So now we are going to be doing the TPMS sensor registration now. So you're going to be needing the TPMS scan tool. This is the ATEQ VT37. So you're able to ping the sensors. So you're able to get the sensor IDs. And then you're going to be needing some sort of a high level scan tool or similar. So you're able to input the sensor IDs into the scan tool. So we're going to go under system selection, chassis, and tire pressure monitor. We're going to go to special function, ID registration. There is a time limit. You will have to do this within 5 minutes. But before we go into the system, we are going to go outside of the vehicle and ping all of the sensors so we can get the IDs. So we are just going to go to check sensor, Toyota Sienna. This is the 2015, so 2014 to 2020. This is 4 wheels. On some vehicles, some of the Toyota and Lexus vehicles, they may have 5 wheels, because it will be, the TPMS will be monitoring the spare tire. But in this case, this one has 4 wheels, so we are going to choose 4 wheels. So we are going to ping each of the sensors. So I'm at the left front. Now I'm at the right front. Now at the right rear. And now the left rear. So if you want to input the IDs, it's probably a good idea to get a piece of paper and to write the sensor IDs down, or you can use the TPMS tool and scroll to each individual wheel to input the IDs. So now we're going to do the sensor registration main set. Okay. It says you have 5 minutes to perform the following operation. So okay. And I'm going to input everything down off camera. And I'll bring you guys back on camera after I'm done. So once you have inputted all of the sensor IDs, press OK. And if you look on the dashboard, you'll see the TPMS light. It will start the flash. And then after it stops flashing, you should be all good to go. This vehicle is running at the moment. It doesn't matter if you do this while the vehicle is running, or if the ignition is just on, engine off. I don't want to drain the battery, so I just have the vehicle running at the moment. So it's still flashing. It's going to stop after a while. And it says here, ID registration is complete. So press OK, and then you should be all good to go after that. So in case that the TPMS light does not go off, if it stays on, then you probably have to drive the vehicle for some time. Usually after like half a minute or so, the TPMS light, it should go off. As long as you did the ID registration correctly, and then the TPMS light, it should go off as soon as you go for a short drive, and then you should be okay. So as you can see, the TPMS light is no longer on. If you want, you can just double check on the scan tool in the TPMS computer to make sure that there are no stored trouble codes. Just make sure, if you want to check on the scan tool, to double check that there are no stored trouble codes, because previously it was saying that the main set was not learned. There was a trouble code that was stored earlier. So I think the trouble code was T2125 or something, main set not learned, or something like that. So all you have to do is to go for a short road test, and the light, it should go away, and you should be all good to go. As long as you did the ID registration correctly, then you shouldn't have any issues. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.